if 3 people were to listen to like one of my songs and one out of those 3 people were to say like I listened to this song and it like changed my life, I would feel very successful and I would feel like I've made it at that point.
Period. 100%. So welcome to the Tea On, where we sip tea and we talk about things. I heard you have tea over there.
I sure did. I almost spilled it on myself just now.
Child. Beautiful. I love to see it. Thank you.
Is that a branded the Tea On teacup?
Period. Of course it is. Listen, it's a whole thing here because we are running a show and I'm so excited because today we have somebody who is just incredibly talented in so many different avenues. I mean, truthfully, you're such a wordsmith and you use your words in the most poetic way possible. So I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited.
Mr. Tyler Brooks, you are an artist. You are a published author. There really is nothing that you can't do. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself, of course, but I do want to just note that you are fully yourself in all avenues that you've chosen to embark on. And it's something that I think you boldly lead by example. And I really appreciate that. But introduce yourself. Let the people know.
So my name is Tyler Brooks. I'm an artist. I'm from Paterson, New Jersey. I don't know what else to say about myself. I just put out an EP called Distance. You can find that on all your favorite streaming platforms. And we're just here to chat.
Honestly, and I'm so excited to have you on because the EP is incredible. All of your bodies of work have just been really raw and authentic and real. And I think you can see yourself very clearly in your lyricism, which is why I was so excited to talk to you, because I think in you embracing your vulnerability and in you standing in your authenticity, there of course has to come some level of doubt or level of anxiety when putting yourself out there, and even how much you place on its reception, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about something that I think all artists can probably relate to, but also I think just anybody who creates something or puts their emotions into something. We all deal with self-doubt, right? So the first question that I have for you, we're just going to dive immediately in. And obviously, usually I participate if I have something to contribute. And I think that during this conversation I will, because I deal with self-doubt so often it's actually uncomfortable. But when you deal with pressures, do you think that they come more from outward sources or inward sources?
I think for me, definitely more from inward sources. Because I feel like not so much really maybe anymore. Actually, that's not true. I still do. I was gonna say
you're getting better, maybe.
Yeah. Think about when you like make anything, you think about, like, what are people going to say about this? Like, are people going to like it? Are people going to hate it? And so I would think about that a lot when making stuff. And I would find myself thinking like I would make something that I liked. And then I would say like, oh, I like it, but I don't know if other people are going to like it. So then I think of like trying to change it. But it's like I go back and forth with myself, like, am I changing it like for other people or for myself? And if I do like it, whatever it is now, then like why do I care if other people will like it or not? But then it's like, I don't know. I like I said, I would find myself going back and forth a lot. Yeah. But then I come to like find that once I do put something out, whether it be like music or I don't know, a poem or whatever, I like always feel good just like in the act of putting it out.
Yeah.
So I kind of like feel like I don't care anymore what people are going to think about it, but I don't know why, like in the process of it, I think so heavily like, oh man, what's the reception gonna be? And I've never really gotten any negative like feedback. I mean, of course, I'm sure people don't like it, but listen. People are not as likely to be like, yo, I listen to your track, it's trash. But like that's what I'm saying is that never happened. So I don't know why I am so like I said, not so much anymore, but I'm so like, oh, people gonna like this or not.
Right. Yeah.
So all of that to say, I definitely think it comes more from what you're saying, like an inward source than an outward, or what other people may think about. whatever.
I feel the same exact way. And I think also it's just like we're growing up in such a digital age with social media that I think we're so used to, even if it's not something that's innate in us, we like fall into this place where we like measure our worth and our value by like likes and approval. And so like that can bleed into our art, which is, I feel the same exact way. I feel like it can seem like an outward source because it's like other people's perception, but it's your own pressure that you're putting on yourself to be approved by that outward perception.
Yeah. Exactly. I was just gonna say that a minute ago. You just reminded me. That's like, say I make, I don't even know. Say I put like a snippet of a song or something that I've written and I post it on Instagram. And to me, I'm like, yo, this is fire. I love what I made. I'm very happy with it. But then you post it and it like doesn't get as many likes as you thought it was gonna get. Then you start to think like, oh, maybe it wasn't that good. But it's like, I thought it was good 5 minutes ago, right before I posted it, but now that it's doing this,
and nothing changed.
Nothing at all changed. So I'm like, why? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
We value engagement, which that leads into the next question so easily, which is because this is something that I have found myself struggling with, and I think we're all chasing some form of success, and I think that sometimes I will deem I will define that success by like engagement and by numbers and by followers and by like that like definition of what success can be. But I think it's important for anybody who's creating anything or putting themselves out there to find their own definition of success. So what do you think is your like personal definition of success? How do you feel like when this happens, I've made it?
Mm-hmm. So I think especially with like art and things like that and like creative, ventures, is such an emphasis on like people wanting to make it. And it's like, what does make it mean? I mean, like, I would love to blow up overnight. Don't get me wrong.
Right, yeah.
Pull a Lil Nas X and just like accidentally go number one for half a year. But
accidentally.
I don't know. I feel like, well, the number one goal, I guess, whenever I'm doing, music or writing or whatever, is that I want to like impress myself kind of, or like I want to be satisfied myself with, whatever it is I'm making. But also one of the reasons I started, making music and started writing is because of the music and the books and things that I've read that have like made a big impact on me. Mm-hmm. And I feel it's like the way I feel when I engage with those things is how I want other people to feel when they, engage with mine. And so it's like when I do feel successful now because like when I do put these things out, people tell me, that is good or it affected them in this way. Even just now in your little intro for me, I was like, oh my God, I'm like near tears over here. No, but it's like, that it really means a lot when people say that, because it's like, okay, I am, doing the right thing.
You're your purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And even though it's like on a small scale right now, it still is like proof to me kind of that like what I'm doing is worthwhile. And there's like, there's this thing that, dang, I don't remember where it came from, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a saying about somebody seeing a little boy going down the beach and finding a bunch of like starfish on the sand and throwing them back into the water. This is not to say that my music is saving anybody, I'm just using it. But it's like he's throwing them all back into the ocean because they're stuck on the sand, they can't breathe and they can't survive. And the person says like, there's thousands of them here, you're not making any difference by like throwing these one by one at a time. And the boy picks up one and he says, I bet it made a difference to this one, and throws it back into the water and keeps going. So it's like, even though there might be if there's three people who listen to my, and one of them says like, wow, this song changed my life, I will feel like I have made it or I am successful.
Yes, 100%. Wait, you like it froze like for 2 seconds when you were like, if three people listen to my album. So say that again, because I feel like it was so powerful. Please.
Okay. What did I say? Oh,
3 people listen to my album.
take 2. I'm kidding. But yeah, if 3 people were to listen to like one of my songs, and 1 out of those 3 people were to say like I listened to this song and it like changed my life, I would feel very successful, and I would feel like I've made it at that point.
Period. 100%. I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly how I feel. I think that success should be defined by that kind of fulfillment. You know, it doesn't have to be something that's tangible or something that's monetary. And mind you, all of that stuff it's okay to desire that, and I'm sure that as you walk your path and your purpose, that will all find you. But it's a matter of not being what you're chasing. As long as you are chasing the notion that you are making a ripple effect, because truthfully, you don't know whose eyes are on you, and you don't know which ears you're hitting. And if you say that one right sentence that hits somebody, that alone is going to create a ripple effect for the collective. So that's incredible. Who are some artists that feel like enabled you to stand in your like authenticity and your vulnerability as an artist?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's so many artists who I love.
Yeah, I know this.
I'll just name say like top 3 artists. Actually, I can't even say that. I'll just say 3 that I like a lot. Okay. My number 1 all time is Michael Jackson. Clearly. Another is, especially coming from a Jamaican family, is Bob Marley, who I've grown up just listening to his music. And like, I mean, since I was young, I couldn't even tell you like the first time I heard any of his music.
Yeah, same.
And as a more contemporary one, I guess, I love Frank Ocean a lot too. And
how did I know you were gonna say Frank Ocean?
I love that. Is it because I'm wearing a Frank t-shirt right now?
Oh, are you really?
You can't even see it. But there's just something that's so like, I don't even know, just like honest about their music. And it's like, it's almost kind of like uncomfortable, but like so just like true to hear somebody like really bearing their soul in the way that some of these artists do. So like in particular, there's one song that's not really one of his like hits, but one of Michael Jackson's songs called Stranger in Moscow, which if you have not listened to it, I would highly recommend. But it's just like him talking about just like feeling incredibly like lonely. And it's just like, it's almost weird to think that like somebody even of that like high level of celebrity and fame, so many people around him all the time, could still feel so alone. And it's like, it's empowering to like think about the fact that like he is being his most honest and like most vulnerable self in that song.
Yeah.
That like millions of people are going to hear it, and him just like being willing to like be like vulnerable and just like bare his soul for countless people to hear. And it's just like, but when somebody does do that, you feel it, and you feel like, say you're feeling the same way somebody's feeling it. It's like the idea of like, you think you're alone, but you're not, because like somebody out there is feeling the same way as you.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Hear something or read something or see something on TV that like touches on what you are feeling. It just like kind of validates whatever it is that you're going through, and like I said, just makes you feel not alone.
Yes.
That's why I think like art is powerful and necessary.
Yes. I feel like same exact way. I mean, I don't know if I would consider journalism an art, but I will say that the reason why I felt like I was really called to have these conversations and with whatever platform I had was because I think there's so much healing that can come from providing a mirror for people and allowing them to see the humanity in themselves. So like, I think there's a lot of artists that kind of have a barrier up. So the artists that don't have that barrier and really do bear who they are inwardly in their art, I think they stand out. So yeah, those are incredible people to emulate for sure. And I think you do so quite well. Oh, are you okay? What happened?
A little bit, but you cut out a few seconds there.
No worries. I didn't ask anything, so it's cool. I was just talking. But the next question that I have that I think I'm curious to know your answer, because it's something that it's a conversation I've had with a lot of different people right now, which is like this essence of reconnecting with your why, which I think is also kind of tied to like how you define success. But truthfully, whenever the people in my life and myself, when we go through bouts of self-doubt, I think one way to really pull yourself out of it, especially if you're dealing with like imposter syndrome or anything like that, is to reconnect with your why. And like, why is it that you create what it is that you create, or why do you pursue what it is that you pursue? Because, you know, for some artists, you know, their music or what they write can be a form of like a therapeutic outlet, or, you know, do they want to help shift the narrative of their generation? Because I do know that you are very vocal, and we said we were going to talk about this a little bit if you want to, about like social issues and stuff like that. So like, all in all, with like all of that mixed up, why is it that you want to pursue music and make music?
I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. One, I mean, like I kind of touched on before, I enjoy the impact that music can have on people, and I would like to kind of contribute to that. Also, art, music, and just art in general is very powerful and has the capacity to really bring about change, especially when it's done well by people with the proper platforms who use it in the correct way.
Yeah.
And so like, for actually just scrap what I was about to say. But I think that the number one reason why I do it, and why I feel like if you are doing art, why it should be the reason that you're doing it, is just simply because like you love it. It just makes you happy to do it. You know, people who paint, I don't really like do visual arts, but people who paint just like love painting, because it just feels good to do it. The process of like making music, it just makes me happy to do it. I enjoy, you know, making music. I enjoy writing, and I do put it out, you know, release stuff for people to hear, but I like, regardless of that, I just like doing it. And even on that subject of like putting stuff out, I recently started learning how to play the violin. And like, I'm enjoying not posting anything about it. And it's like, not even because it's like, it's very early and I suck right now, but it's like, even without, I don't know, posting a snippet of playing something to social media just to show like, oh look, I can play this song now. It's just like, I'm enjoying just doing it just for the sake of doing it. I do it I kind of like made a deal with myself that for like 365 days, I would have to practice for a certain amount of time every day, no matter what. And it has not yet like begun to feel like a chore or anything. Like, every day I genuinely enjoy it. So I think like with anything that's creative, even stuff that's like not creative, like whatever it is that you just do with your time,
right?
I think that, just do it because you love to do it and it makes you happy.
Literally, that's it. For anybody who's doing anything, and what you said is so powerful. And make sure that you still love it. And if it gets to a point where it does feel like a chore, or when it does feel like something that's taking from you or draining you rather than, you know, the opposite, revisit why it's not giving you that joy anymore, and why it's not, you know, pleasurable. Because oftentimes there's something that you need to kind of revisit when it comes to maybe the pressure that you may be putting on yourself, or, you know, how you're valuing the outcome of it. Because sometimes I think not everything needs to reap a reward. Sometimes you can just do something and
just do it just because you want. What happened to hobbies, right?
What happened to hobbies, bro? We have to make small businesses out of everything. Like,
it's like, I started building, you know, model planes. I have to sell them now. Like, you can just, and it's like this. You don't have to. Another thing I was just thinking about is like, when you were talking about like revisiting the reason why you're doing something, it's like, you don't have to do it either. Like, if you're not enjoying it anymore. I was just thinking, like, I was having a conversation with, I think it was my cousin, about who's been playing basketball like his whole life, and it was always like his, you know, his dream to play in college and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And then he's just getting to a point where he's just like not enjoying it anymore. He's like, I don't feel like going to practice. I don't feel like going to games. But it's like the pressure to keep on doing it because like that's what you do. It's like, I'm the basketball guy, I'm the music guy. If I stop, people are going to be like, oh, like people are going to be disappointed in me.
No one cares.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't like doing something, don't do it. But I mean, the same is true on the other side. If you enjoy, you know, making music, don't not do it because you're gonna like think that people don't like it or anything like that. You know, it's just like,
yes,
just do you, you know.
The moral of the whole story is do you. If it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. And if it does bring you joy and now you all of a sudden feel pressure to formulate it and serve it in a way where it is, you know, like productive or it'll make you, you know.
Oh, yeah, by all means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If that's what you want to do. But like I feel like some people love baking and they're like, now I must open a bakery. And I'm like, do you want to open that bakery? Like,
yeah.
But totally. And so last question I have is, what are some ways in which you pull yourself out of any self-doubt funks, any moments of just of, there's a word that I'm not remembering right now, but limiting beliefs. There it is.
I think what I do is I kind of just like take a step back for a little while.
Nice.
I like to give myself deadlines, just so I don't
need to work on that.
Yeah, just so I don't stop purely out of laziness. But sometimes it's like, one, if it's a self-doubt type of thing, it's like whatever, if I start to feel like I'm doubting myself or I feel like I'm not fully in it whenever I'm doing something, then at that point, whatever I'm doing is not going to be good. And like, I feel like if I go back and look at something that I did at a time when I wasn't really feeling it and stuff, it's like, you can see that in whatever it was. So it's like, what's the point of, you know, trudging through something that you're not really feeling at the time? So I would take a step back from it a little while, allow myself like space from it and try to kind of rework my thought process. And tell myself kind of what I was just saying a second ago, like, you don't have to, like I said, I give myself deadlines, but it's like, the world is not going to stop if I don't, you know, whatever, finish this song by this day, or, you know, finish this chapter if I'm writing something. Like, everybody will be okay. Like, I will be okay. I find that, like, in doing that, if I take, I don't know, a couple of days, maybe a week or something, I start to like miss it, and in missing it, that kind of triggers the feeling of like, I miss it this much, like I am supposed to be doing it. I feel like drawn back to whatever it is. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, I am supposed to be doing this. I should be doing this. And coming back to it with that new kind of thought always makes me feel a lot better about what I'm doing. And like, take however much time it takes to get to what it is that I'm trying to finish. So like, say I could be writing, say, a song that lasts a minute and a half, but like, if it takes me a year to make it to make it how I want it to sound, then like, that's okay, you know? So definitely, I'm also a very impatient kind of person. I like to finish things, but like, telling myself like, it's okay to take your time or to take time away, and just kind of allowing myself to like organically get back into the mindset that I need to be in, to make something and feel good about it. That always kind of helps me out.
100%. I feel like we have ourselves in a race that like, there's no referee, like no one's even like timing us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ourselves. But yeah, I think that's beautiful advice. And I think that if you ever are faced with your own self-doubt, I can just, from an outside perspective, tell you that you are so capable and worthy and enough and talented and all of the above. So know that there are people who are listening and people who are impacted, and it's only up from here.
Only up.
So what can the people expect from you? Where can they stream? Where can they find you? Let them know. Ooh.
Wait, I'm sorry, you cut out again a little bit.
It's okay. I was saying, what can the people expect from you? Where can they find you? Where can they stream? Let them know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, I just released an EP last week called Distance. It's 5 songs. I like it a lot. But you can find it on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, SoundCloud, whatever. Wherever it is you listen to music, it will be there under my name, Tyler Brooks. You can follow me on Instagram at @DTylerBrooks_ or at Twitter at the Tyler Brooks _ and yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me. Perfect. And any last words on the subject? Anything that you want the people to know about you?
I mean, do what you love because you want to do it. And that's it.
That is so powerful.
You'll be successful if you love what you do. It sounds so cliche, but it's so true.
No, it's I think it's a secret of life, honestly. Just pursue what it is that your soul is telling you feels right, and you'll be fine.
There's a line from Sister Act 2, which I like a lot, where she is talking to one of the students, and she says, like, I don't remember even what the student was saying, but they're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, blah, blah, blah. I think it was a student whose, like, mom didn't want her to be in the choir and stuff, but she loves singing, but her mom doesn't want her to do it. She doesn't know where she's supposed to fit. And Whoopi Goldberg's character in the movie is like, go after it is what you love. And I'll never forget this because I saw it when I was young, and me being somebody who was trying to be a writer, she says, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you think about is writing and you can't stop thinking about it, then you're supposed to be a writer. It's like whatever fits into that blank. If you like whatever it is that you can't stop yourself from thinking about, like, do it. That's what you do.
Ugh, ew, that gave me goosebumps. That's so powerful. And also Whoopi Goldberg is like a prophet, but I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing yourself with me. I really appreciate the fact that you
for having me on here.
Oh, period. Thank you for being on this platform and standing boldly in who you are and enabling all those who are watching you to do the same. As far as I'm concerned, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Jasmine Kylene, or visit layoluna.tv for more conscious content. And otherwise, just do you, homies. No one's watching as closely as you think they are. Like, everyone is like, just relax, you're fine. That's it.
That's it.